Hello and welcome to the first episode of OnlyJustConversations. Today we have the extraordinary freerunner, vlogger, social media content creator, insert many other amazing adjectives. It's Jason Paul.
Hello, do we have like a jingle?
We do. Roll the intro song.
We gon' break bread right now. You can get fed right now, pipe down. Travel the world, live and learn. Never know when it might be your turn. Take a chance and believe it. Bleed it when the dream comes, you seize it. Until the dream becomes the air that you breathe, and that's how bad you need it. These are only just conversations. These are only just conversations. These are only just conversations. What you listening to? Only just conversation.
So I'm going to pretend like we haven't been talking for the past like 10 minutes and say, hi Jason, how are you?
Hey Lucy, I'm doing great. After your flattering intro, I feel pumped up. Excited, yeah.
I'm glad. You're currently in Germany, right?
Exactly, I'm in Germany, Frankfurt. This is my hometown. I'm kind of a vagabond in a way, but this is my parents' place, and I get to stay here while I'm in Germany. So I get to see them, and then I'll be off in 2 days again to Japan.
Cool. Oh my word, you're like constantly traveling. But like every time I see something you post, you're in a different country, which is like
it gets ridiculous sometimes.
I am super appreciative of you being on the podcast. Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool. So I want to say thank you first of all for being part of this.
Thank you so much. I'm super honored to be on your first podcast. Are you excited about it?
I am, yeah. I think I've been like waiting to do it for ages, and it's finally launching, and I think it's just amazing to have you as the first guest, first of all, because I think you have a really cool story to tell. So I don't know if you want to get into that and sort of like describe who you are, what you do, a couple of sentences, almost like as if it's like an elevator pitch. No pressure.
Oh no. Okay, awkward elevator pitch. I'll do a quick intro. So I basically grew up with a British dad, so I grew up speaking English to him, German to my mom. I grew up in Frankfurt in Germany, and growing up I kind of loved climbing around, climbing on trees, climbing on the playgrounds, and all of a sudden when you hit like 10, 11, that wasn't cool anymore. Everybody stopped doing it, and I was kind of bummed about it, but I felt like, all right, that phase of my life is over where I can climb around on trees and enjoy that. Until I saw a parkour video when I was 14, and I was like, wow, that's it. And at this point, my escape was video games, because that's where I could still climb around and I could still kind of explore my environment in that way and be a superhero. And then awesome. I saw a parkour video, and I was like, wow, that's it. Like that, people still get to climb on stuff, even if you're grown up. And if they do it, then I want to do it too. So me and my friend kind of just went out without any instructions. I was 14, and we tried to teach us all these moves by ourselves, and really just got obsessed with it. And that kind of led to me being sponsored by Red Bull and GoPro now, traveling around the world, running all my own clothing and media brand with my friends, and just getting to do a lot of fun stuff. Feel very lucky that it kind of turned out that way.
That is like super awesome. I love your story, and I love everything that you put online, hence why I wanted to like talk to you about it. But like, I'm not too familiar with parkour. I don't know an awful lot about it, and I think I would definitely like break all of my bones if I ever tried any of the moves that you do. For anyone who is as clueless as I am, I mean, all I know is watching your videos. What is parkour?
So whenever people ask me what parkour is, usually the short answer is, you know those guys that do flips off of walls in the streets and that jump from roof to roof? And people be like, yeah, okay. I'm like, that's what I do. And of course, that's what most people know it as. And I do jump from roof to roof, but of course, there's a lot more to it. It's kind of an interesting mix of a martial art and an extreme sport. So you kind of look at the world like a skateboarder would. Okay. And you try to find different challenges and jumps and gaps that you can move your body across. Just you're not using a skateboard or a bike, you're just using your body, and you're trying to find different challenges and kind of just move through the city as effortless as possible, climbing walls, railings, whatever obstacles are in your way.
No, I have like such a respect for what you do. Like, see, if I was to like even stand near the edge of a building, there's not a chance. What made you decide to like start sort of documenting everything like on YouTube and social media?
I always loved cameras. anyway. Like even before I was making parkour videos, I was making like Counter-Strike videos or whatever I was into at that time. And then once I started parkour, I was by myself because there was nobody else doing it. And the camera kind of started becoming my tool of coaching myself. So whenever I would try a new trick and it wouldn't work, I would record it. And then I would compare my clip frame by frame with somebody else who was doing it.
Oh, that's super smart.
Success. So I would always check, like, what is his arm doing? What's his leg doing? What's he doing differently? And that was kind of my way of learning, was just always recording whatever I was doing. And very quickly, just that turned into its own little passion of itself, just making better edits, better videos. And at some point, like, first, all it was about was just like the bigger, better cameras. Like I remember being so excited. This is my first time shooting with a red camera. It's my first time shooting with an Alexa. It's my first time shooting like whatever, how many frames a second. And you always get those beautiful highlight shots. And at some point we realized, oh wow, that highlight shot is really cool. But a lot of times what we had to do to get that shot is a lot more exciting of a story. Like sneaking into the building, dodging a security guard, climbing up the fire escape, and then just getting away before somebody noticed. Like there's so many just funny moments that would happen, and that's the story we would tell each other. Like just when you're back at home with your friends, you're like, oh, this happened and we got this shot, but we can only tell you the story. And now kind of turn into like, hey, let's still get that beautiful shot that we can post, and that is kind of the highlight of that day, but let's also document how we get it.
I love that. That's so cool. It's actually kind of like relates to me. So when I used to do ballet like ages ago, and I would have videos recorded of me doing like routine, blah, blah, blah. And then I would watch that video and like, you know, perfect the routine from the video.
And you probably do the same with your edits, right? Every time you edit, you have to rewatch everything you did that day and you see all the mistakes.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, it's such a process, you know, but I love it. So
yeah.
Do you think there's been like any sort of like real impact on you, like from documenting what you do?
I definitely noticed that before I would have a lot of reach. I would have a lot of people that were watching what I was doing, that were excited about this new trick I did or this line I would do. But now that I'm doing the vlogs, there's a lot more of a personal connection that I have with people that just wasn't there before. Like I can tell I meet people, and just the impact I've had on their life is just crazy to me. Like some of the messages I get, I was like, oh, I was depressed, or this is like people telling me some of the stuff that's going on in their life, and I'm just like, they're like, oh, I'm secretly gay and none of my friends know, and I'm scared if I tell them. And then they ask me, what do you think I should do? And I'm like,
it's a lot of pressure. Like
let
definitely.
me think about it. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting dynamic with people, because I think you talk differently to the camera than you would to a person in a conversation.
Oh, 100%.
I think my kind of childhood friends, I used to really struggle being really open with them a lot of times. It was difficult for me. We'd go out and have fun and we'd hang out and it'd be a good time, but I would struggle really having deep, meaningful conversations.
I completely relate to that. Like so much on like such a personal level. Like I was the exact same. Like I was so quiet, but then I don't know, on my own, and that's like vlogging really made me sort of find my voice, I think. Like it gave me sort of more of a personality. I don't know if that kind of relates to you at all.
And do you think you're an outgoing person naturally?
I think I feel like I'm an introverted extrovert, right? So like I can be extroverted in the right kind of situation. Like see if I'm at a club, I am like the biggest introvert. I feel so uncomfortable. It's just not my situation. See if I'm at like an Instagram meetup or like a YouTube meetup or like meeting someone for coffee, I'm like an extrovert. Like I can talk to sort of anyone if anyone comes up to me. But like, yeah, I think it just has to be the right situation. I think I'm an outgoing person, but I don't know. You know, it's such a layered question. Do you know what I mean? But I definitely feel like doing YouTube and doing like sharing my life on social media, I feel like has helped me become more confident in who I am and helped me sort of figure out who I am in a lot of ways. I don't know if you can.
Yeah. No, I can. To me, it's definitely something that I have to switch on. It's not like an auto mode. I have to force. I'm like, Jason, you're at this event where you have to talk to people. That's why everybody's here, to meet people and talk. Do it.
Yeah, that's like,
so I definitely have to switch it on.
That's like me. Like I was always afraid like to speak to people, for example, whenever I was younger. I was like really bullied and whatnot. So it was like, I always felt so super like self-conscious. But then I think at the age of like 13, 14, I was like, I can't live like this. Like it's better to ask and like try talk to someone than not at all. So I think that's actually where a lot of my opportunities came from, is like the current job that I have was through me emailing the production company when I was 14 on like, no, sorry, Facebook messaging the production company when I was 14 being like, hi, I make videos. Can I come in and work for free? And for some reason they said yes. But I think like, it relates like to now, if I'm like at a YouTube event, like I want to go up to that creator and say, hey, I really love your content. But inside I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to talk to this person. Like, you know, like I really have to switch it on. Like, I don't know if you saw those Instagram stories I put up earlier, like about the podcast and everything that was going on. I must have did like 20 takes of each story. Like so bad.
Oh, yeah. It's difficult. And the nice thing, it does get better. It's a skill, right? I feel like some are definitely naturally better at it.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have control in the edit as well. I get to go home and I get to decide that was a good take and that was a bad take.
I feel like first person for me is really difficult. Like, see, like Instagram stories, they're so instant, but I just find them like so difficult to do. Like, I would much rather be able to have control over the editing side of things, and it's almost like it's so bad, but I want to make things look better than what they are. And like recently I've been trying to, you know, be more natural and like let the bad things show, not only the good, which I think is something that a lot of people struggle with. But I don't know if you've kind of dealt with that at all.
I feel like, first of all, I feel like you're doing a good job, for sure.
Oh, you're so sweet.
It's fun to watch. I enjoyed watching your Instagram story earlier. I was like, oh, cool. You're shouting out everybody. I could tell what you're talking about, because you had like some animal filter on every single one.
Yeah.
And I understand it. Video is that thing where you always want to make it a little bit more exciting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very difficult. I admire filmmakers, kind of the Wes Anderson style, where they can make a very simple shot and they just let you look at kind of a scenery or a building for like 10 seconds. And I'm like, oh, I find that so hard to do in the editing, to just be like, this is it. This is simple, but it's good. And I think it's good. I don't have to make it more exciting. It's so difficult.
I think like the best thing about YouTube is like, or like, you know, social media in general, there's so many different types of creators and so many different types of content. Like, I remember whenever I first started, like the type of content you would see on YouTube was like Charlie McDonnell, who was a vlogger, like dipping fish fingers in custard, or like people doing covers of songs. So like the only person that had got famous from YouTube was Justin Bieber through his channel, which was like called Kid Roll. By the way, you kind of look like Justin Bieber. I saw one of your like old posts. I saw one of your old posts on Team Freerunning. I was like reading an article, like a blog post that you did, and there's like a photo of, I can't even remember what it was, but there's this photo. I'm going to insert it right now into like some sort of micro content. You look like Justin Bieber, like what he looks like now. I was like, what the flip? Jason is like a doppelganger for Justin Bieber.
I need to stand double.
I know. Oh my goodness, yeah. Oh, so funny. I just find that really funny. I've completely lost my train of thought now. Yeah, so like basically back then no one had been famous from YouTube. Content was very sort of similar. There was sort of like two sort of types. It was either really weird videos done through a webcam, vlogs, or it was covers of songs. But like now there's so many different types of content. And I think it's like so great to see, like you have like a specific sort of niche, which is your parkour and travel and like all those kind of things. That's what I sort of think of when I think of your videos. And I feel like mine is very sort of different. I'm still figuring out my niche. I have no idea what I'm doing sometimes, but I just kind of go with it, if that makes sense. So what do you kind of think your niche is, and what kind of social media site do you think you enjoy posting onto like the most at the moment?
Okay, there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I wanted that kind of got me interested, what you said earlier. I want to rewind real quick.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting to me. Do you think as you became more of a, because for me, now that I started parkour, which was, now it's getting kind of cool. When I started, it was like almost 13 years ago, it was definitely not cool. I was like an idiot on a playground trying to learn how to jump over a rail. And now I've started vlogging when I'm walking around with a camera, talking to a camera. I feel like I'm definitely becoming stranger of a person.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I'm becoming more confident in what I do. I feel like it's because I think normally the assumption is you blend in more with society, you become more confident, it becomes easier.
Yeah.
That's what most people do. But do you think as you become more of a strange person, it gets a little easier?
I think it's, I mean, personally for me, whenever I first started, like I started uploading videos to YouTube when I was like 12 years old. Like literally YouTube had just sort of like became a thing. And my first video, this is so embarrassing, I can't believe I'm about to say this, was me singing Baby by Justin Bieber. That is like, it's long deleted, so no one can see that anymore.
I did find your SoundCloud, by the way.
Oh no.
Those are I couldn't do it better.
Oh no, they're bad. I mean, maybe in the future I'll release something, but let's just keep that under wraps for now. Whenever I first started though, I was like, everyone was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you talking to a camera? I literally remember the amount of hate I got from like uploading those videos was crazy. But it like, that really decreased my confidence at the start, but I just knew, I was like, this is gonna be something. Like I could see that like people could develop personal relationships from it, and it just sort of was like a creative outlet. As the years have went on, obviously vlogging has become like a massive thing, and as it's sort of grown, my confidence has grown with it. And I think the more you do it as well, the more confident you get. Do you know what I mean? Like a year ago, I was less confident walking down the street holding a camera than what I am now, you know? And it makes you a more confident person as well. For me anyways, like I can go to someone and then be like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a video creator. Like I upload videos to like social media, and it's kind of cool. Do you know what I mean? People are like, oh, that's awesome. What do you make videos about? And it's something cool to talk about. And I think it's awesome how many people I've met through it as well. Like me and you, we met in the weirdest way. Like,
yeah.
Do you remember how we met?
Seemed outgoing when, were we not just sitting on the floor watching like Shonduras talk at VidCon?
Power Video.
Not VidCon. What's it called? Power Video. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. So I helped a little bit like organize Power Video. And I remember at the conference, I was running about like doing a bunch of stuff, but I just saw you and you were the first person that came up to me and was like, hi. And like we talked, and then I was like doing stuff on Snapchat, and all of a sudden you appeared and did a backflip in the background. And then we're just like, sitting on the floor together watching Shonduras, and you had a GoPro in your mouth. Like this is what I remember from it.
Fuck, I am a strange person.
I put up a story on my Instagram yesterday just saying if anyone wanted to ask you, you know, some quick questions. And a guy called Felix Surplus, he wanted me to mention that the crack is still there from whenever you broke the wall in Belfast.
Oh, yeah. So when we were at Power Video, a local filmmaker from the UK, actually, he came and said, hey, his name was Zach. He said, hey, I'm Zach Lower. I've got this massive camera rig. I would love to shoot you doing some parkour outside. And I'm like, all right, let's go out. And 30 minutes later, I was just like, all right, I'm just going to run around this building and I'll do like a little freestyle parkour line. We'll see whatever happens. And I do like a bunch of shit, some tricks, flip off a wall, jump over a rail. And I'm like, right now I'm going to climb up this wall. And I grabbed the top of the wall, and it looked like there was nothing that hinted at this wall being not being solid and sound. And I've climbed up like 10,000s of walls.
Yeah.
I know pretty well when a wall looks okay, but it turns out you never really know. So I grabbed the top of this wall, and just like 4 tiles off the wall come down, and yeah, they fixed it pretty quick though.
Yeah. Oh, it was so funny. I'm sorry. Whenever I saw that video, I laughed so much. And then I just find it really funny how people remember that. Like that guy literally messaged me on Instagram, was like, tell him the crack's still there in the wall.
Well, and I was so bummed because the kids already, I met with the local community there for training the day before.
Oh, cool.
And
that was outside City Hall, right? Or something?
Yeah.
Oh, you did like a meetup. I remember I really wanted to go to that. Really annoyed I didn't, but I was like, I can't do parkour, I'm just gonna embarrass myself. So I was like, maybe give that a miss. But
you're always welcome.
Oh, I appreciate it, but I don't want to break my leg or something, so I'll just leave that up to you. I'll video it. I'll come video it for you. I'll be like your D-Rock, like.
Awesome. And that meetup, the kids said, "Oh yeah, but we can't. They always kick us out of that spot."
Mm-hmm.
And then I broke the wall, and then they commented under the video, and we're like, oh, "Okay, now we definitely
Can't go
can't
back
train
to
at
that
that spot anymore." I felt so bad, so bad.
So funny though.
Ah.
Have you had any sort of other like moments like that, like throughout making the videos and whatnot? Not even just making the videos, just in general, like parkour.
Yeah, and parkour, we really, really try. Like, part of the philosophy of parkour is really that you're kind of not allowed to change the environment.
Yeah.
Right. So if the wall is slippery, or if that's the way the wall was built, or that's the way the tree has grown, you're not allowed to mess with it and break off a branch just to do a jump. You gotta, and it's kind of a nice metaphor for life, I think, for a lot of kids, is that's the problem, and you got to deal with it.
Yeah.
You got to deal with that reality. You got to figure it out, and it's a good way to learn that.
Yeah.
But yes, sometimes you just make mistakes. Like I thought one building, I was like, oh, I can totally run up that slant, and then that slant was glass, and I just like stepped through a window. Luckily, it was like an abandoned building.
I've seen. I remember there was one video and you were like sliding down something. I can't even, what was it? Oh my goodness. But it just made me like terrified. Like I was holding my breath. I was like, he's gonna die. He's gonna die. Like it's so scary to me. Like I have such an appreciation for what you do. Like I cannot stress that enough. It's so good, but oh my word, like you're so brave. Like I just couldn't do it.
Thank you. Yeah. A lot of times nothing happened. Like really, we're kind of like what you would imagine a stuntman kind of does. So whenever we do a jump, we do check every surface.
Yeah.
Usually. Sometimes I feel a little brave, and then very quickly I get reminded that I should always check everything before I do a jump.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, anyways. Okay, let's try like do kind of a bit of a formal podcast. Team Freerunning. Am I pronouncing it right, first of all?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Can you tell me a little bit about what it is and like where did the idea come from? That kind of thing.
Oh God, it's such a, how do I tell this story the right way? I always struggle with it. Because basically we have a friend from Thailand. His name is Anand.
Okay.
And he used to be a child pop star in Thailand.
Wow.
So when he was like 12 or 14 or something, he became a pop star in Thailand. He had like 4 or 5 albums. Everybody to this day recognizes him on the street. And when he was 18, he was kind of fed up with being a pop star, so he decided, right, I'm going to move to Australia for a year and go to uni. And while he was over there, he started parkour, really got into it, basically trained every day, was training more at uni, jumping over the wall than he was sitting in class. And then just before his final exam, he did a jump and he slipped and fell on his head and knocked himself out. So he missed the final exam, got the paperwork wrong, and kind of got semi-kicked out of Australia back to Thailand.
Oh my goodness.
So Anand, who was now really into parkour, was back in Bangkok, his hometown.
Okay.
And the Australian guys, his new parkour friends, were starting to visit him every year. And because parkour is such a small world, especially back then, everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
So I was 18 at the time, and I was in London, and I met one of the Australian guys. His name was Sean Wood. And we were both competing at the World Championships. And he said, you should come to Thailand. And I did all right. So I won some prize money. So I used that prize money to book a ticket to Thailand. And that's kind of how everybody got there. Everybody saved up their money and they went to Thailand for a month. And we all stayed in his apartment for like 20 guys in this apartment. People were sleeping in the kitchen, on the floor, under the table. And for a month, we would just go. For a month, we would basically just go and train and party and explore and travel and just up to no good, explore abandoned buildings. And we kind of said, all right, we want to make an epic video from this trip. That was kind of our goal. And we called ourselves Freerunning because the Thai word for foreigner is Freerang.
Okay.
And the one word that kind of encompassed everybody who was there was Freerang, or foreigners. And it started as a joke, really. We're like, all right, we're Team Freerang, whatever. It was kind of like the first video we made went on Sean's channel, and then we went back the next year and we said, let's make a better video. I won the contest, so I had some more prize money, so I put all of it to buy like the Canon 7D back then and a 50mm lens, and I was trying to learn all about it, and we're like, all right, let's make a better video, let's make a bigger video. We went to like 3 countries, and I think what we did different back then was everybody was just making action clips.
Yeah.
And we showed kind of the lifestyle that was going on as well.
You were like telling a story.
Yeah. We were kind of shooting a little bit more of, just showing the fun times, not just the action.
Yeah.
And people really responded to that. And
it's relatable, you know?
So we thought, our kind of goal was, oh, wow, that's so cool. What if we imagine we could just make videos and we could get sponsors, and that could be a way for us to do these trips for free and get to have a good time. So we did that for a while. We didn't really get any sponsors for the team just because the sport is quite small, but we decided, hey, why don't we start a clothing brand to go alongside with it?
Yeah.
And that's what we've been doing since. That's kind of the origin of Freerunning. Now, we still have an office in Bangkok. We release 2 clothing lines a year. We're working on our first shoe now. We are now
so cool.
actually uploading 5 videos a week to our YouTube. Have 6 athletes from all across the world, and 3 friends who we hired to do accounting and shipping, and it's kind of cool because we just get to do everything.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome name, first of all. Like, the whole origin story of Freerunning is like super, super cool. And I think the fact that you came from like, you would just like 20 guys like sleeping in one house to like the successful company that you have now, like, it's a super inspiring story. And I think a lot of the people that are listening, hello you that are listening, should try and take something from it. Do you know what I mean? You not everything's going to happen overnight. Like, clearly it took you a while to develop that, and the goal of Freerunning sort of changed over time. But yeah, I think it's just a super awesome story.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been great. I think that the funny thing is, looking back and telling the story, it feels like, oh, that all makes sense. But of course, when we did it, we had no idea what we were doing. We were just messing around. Yeah.
No, that's like, it's just super cool. It's really, really nice. It's just, I feel like it's just like such a sweet story. Do you know what I mean? About how like you have came to create this like awesome brand now, but you didn't know back then what it was going to become. You were just sort of having fun.
Yeah, and I think my goal was always just, am I surrounding myself with people that I'm excited about? Yeah. Because that was kind of what was important to me. I wanted to have a group of people around me where I could kind of voice any idea and any thought, and it wouldn't necessarily, like, it wouldn't get made fun of. Like, of course you can say that that's a shitty idea, but at least people who would listen and think about it, and you could get creative with, and you would value their creative opinion, and kind of just were, I don't know, I always wanted to surround myself with people that I'm kind of inspired by their qualities and what they're doing. And I'm like, oh, I want to kind of pick out, like, oh, I know Anand does this really well. I wish I could be a little bit better at that. Sean's really good at that. And I was actually not social media savvy at all. Like, I didn't even have a cell phone for the longest time. Yeah. Like, I loved kind of being off the grid. And then Sean sometimes said, bro, you need to get an iPhone and get Instagram. And I was like, okay. So I kind of got
on to everything.
Yeah, I wasn't really aware of it. Back then I was just like, just make a cool video. I don't really care what happens with it.
Yeah. I'm sure that's changed over time though.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now I'm definitely like, oh shit, that really worked.
Yeah.
Let's do more of
Let's do more of it. Hence why you're doing like 5 videos a week on Team Freerunning. That's an incredible amount of content, like, to be putting out, you know, like, consistency is sort of key. And I think that's super awesome. What, like, for yourself, what kind of platform do you sort of like what are you obsessed with at the moment? What kind of platform?
Instagram's definitely kind of got the attention and the power right now. Like, I struggle with putting stuff on Facebook right now. Just Facebook and Twitter, I wish I could give more time to. But YouTube and Instagram is where it's at for me right now. Instagram, just to share small moments and action, and it's a good way to, you know, for me, parkour, I'm kind of lucky because it's inherently kind of exciting.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of people, I think, through my Instagram and through the action. And then I try to get them to my YouTube. And then in my YouTube, I can be like, all right, here's some more action, some more of the stuff you came for. But let's also talk about some real shit. Like, let's talk about some, like, life topics, things that are important, things that are really gonna improve your life.
Yeah.
That kind of have helped me in sharing kind of things that I've learned or things that I'm excited about that are not just jumping around.
I completely agree. I think Instagram at the moment is like massive for underpriced attention. Do you know, it really reminds me at the moment of old school YouTube. Like whenever YouTube first started, you know how you had like the message button and whatnot, like you could message anyone on the platform and, you know, the attention was really there. But as YouTube has sort of developed and become more popular, it's become more saturated with content. And I think at the moment, like a lot of people are using Instagram, but not really thinking of the full potential of it. So like I see massive potential in like Instagram. Like you can direct message anyone. Do you know what I mean? You can find anyone like with a similar interest through hashtags and then comment under their photos, and that brings attention to your profile. You know, I feel like it's much easier to grow a following on Instagram at the moment than any platform. That's just my personal opinion.
I think so. Yeah. I think you see a lot of people, just the reach you can get is pretty unreal on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Definitely.
I wish I always kind of struggled with hitting people up. I'm not, for some reason, my kind of is in the past it's kind of worked for me to just do my thing and then let people find me. That's kind of what I've been trying to do. Like I'm not really a guy who hit somebody up and be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. We should do something. And
if you see a gap in someone's content, like for me as a filmmaker, if I go on and see a gap in someone's content and I know I can fill it, like naturally I want to do that. I mean, there's only so much I can do. I think you can go about Instagram DMs like the right way or the wrong way, if you know what I mean. If you're offering value and you're giving that person something with no expectations of something in return, that's awesome. And that's something that I love doing is like.
No, I think what you're saying is so true, and especially if you're really, really good at something and people don't know about it yet, then the best thing is to just do it and get it out there. And some of the best ways to do that is just to do it for other people, and that, and there's so much potential in that. Definitely.
I think as well, it's just like not expecting anything in return from it. Like if I make a video for Roland, I don't care if he tags me or not. Like, of course it's good if he tags you because then obviously you get the attention from it. But even helping like the other person out, I think Instagram has such potential like to discover other people. And like, you know, I love keeping up to date with your stuff, but then I also love finding, like I could go and find another like a free runner on your comment section and then enjoy their content and start following them. Instagram's so massive, I think, for being able to discover other people, offer them value, and, you know, grow your own following as well.
Yeah, and for me, it was always also kind of an ego thing. It's kind of weird. It was just like, in a way, I have a lot of people hitting me up now that are like, oh, can you follow me? Can you follow me? Or please follow me so I can show my friend. And for me, it was always like, I don't want to have to ask.
Yeah.
I want
it to naturally happen.
That person to just decide to follow me.
Yeah.
And then I get to get that good time, like, it's such an ego push. But
I completely agree. That's like, I had someone recently follow me that I was kind of like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool that they followed me. And I'd never interacted with them before. I just knew who they were and I respect them so much. And then they followed me, and it is such an ego thing. Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people try like to hide that, but you can't lie. Like, don't lie. It is.
Oh, it's like somebody you think is so awesome. In a way, acknowledge that you're doing good stuff too. That's awesome. That means you're kind of on the right way, right?
Yeah,
you're getting closer
I completely agree.
To people that you want to be doing stuff with. And you don't want to skew that compass in a way, I think, as well, by just asking people to follow you. Like, you're kind of losing a little bit of value for yourself as well.
I know. I completely agree. I think like you need to post good content. If you post good content, like naturally people are going to follow you. I think it gains you credibility as well, though, whenever like cool people follow you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
oh, sure.
Yeah. No, it's super cool. I mean, make no mistake, anyone that's listening, like, you're not going to get followers from Instagram just because there's like attention on the platform. It is something you're genuinely going to have to work for. Like, if you're not posting good content, like, naturally people aren't going to follow you. Like, I feel like that's harsh, but it's just like true. Do you know what I mean? Do you not feel that way, like, when it comes to content on Instagram?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. You could pay money for it, but
Yeah, that's true. Like, you could pay money for it, but try to do it organically, please.
yeah, it's like paying for sex. It's never going to feel as good.
Exactly. I mean, personally, never done that, but okay. So, everything you do is like super interesting. I feel like on your Instagram feed, like, your content is awesome, but as I said earlier, you're always in like a different place. Like, every time I look at one of your posts, there's a different like geo tag on it. Is there like a particular place that you've traveled to recently that, you know, has been, or what's your favorite place that you've traveled to?
Oh,
Sorry, that's a really hard question.
Currently, I'm obsessed with Japan for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have some weird obsession, which used to be parkour and filmmaking, and back then when I started parkour, it didn't make any sense to start parkour. It's like I was skipping school to go training. I was not doing well in school. I was sitting in school like making a list of tricks I should do, but for some reason I decided I'm just gonna follow this obsession I have with this thing. I'm going to see what happens, and even if nothing happens, it's okay because I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah.
And it was the same with filmmaking, and now filmmaking is such a huge part of what I do. And now it's kind of Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's the most stupid obsession of all of them. I'm kind of obsessed with learning Japanese. I've always loved the country. I always loved manga and anime.
Yeah.
So now I'm like spending 2 hours almost every morning trying to get better at speaking Japanese or understanding the language.
Okay.
But I'm kind of worried because at the same time, Google keeps coming up with more better translation apps. So I feel like by the time I'll actually be good at Japanese, I can just put an earplug in my ear and I just wasted.
Yeah. I feel like that's coming.
Of my life.
I feel like something like that is definitely coming in the future in terms of technology as well. Is like, soon we'll have earpieces in our ears, and literally like what I'm saying to you will be translated into one language, what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if I'm talking to someone who speaks German, I don't speak German, but they're going to hear German in their ears from what I'm speaking. I could see that becoming like a thing in the future, definitely.
Totally.
You know?
And it's kind of it kind of makes me a little sad because it's going to make my skill of speaking Japanese less cool 2 years down the line. But I'm still kind of like, Japan is my obsession right now. I love the country. I love being there. Mm-hmm. I love kind of the people, the culture, the food, how obsessive they are with details, and kind of how design-minded they are, and how much care they put in, like the craft of everything they do. It's very admirable to me. So I'm excited to spend time there. And I think I spent a month there last year, spent a month there the year before. Hopefully I'll get to be there for 3 months this year.
Okay, so it looks like I'm booking a holiday to Japan. I've never been, but you've just sold it to me. I think they should hire you like as a brand representative to like discover Japan. Like, needs to just, you know, get you on board.
Yes, please. I did a job like that for Israel once, actually.
Oh, cool. What about, like, you know, speaking of like brand jobs, like, you've obviously worked with some like really cool brands. I saw most recently like some diesel like campaigns you were doing.
That was super exciting. Fortunate to be working with Red Bull and GoPro. Like, those were two brands where I was like, oh, I'd love to work with them. That was a goal of mine that worked. And Diesel was also a brand where I always felt like, oh, what they're doing is really cool. Like, I remember that was one of the brands where their clothing was just a little bit out of my budget, but I'd still scrape up the money to just like buy some cardigan or something, or some shirt and a pair of jeans. And then I actually fucked up working with them once because a girl from Red Bull switched to Diesel, and she gave me like a gift voucher, and I did a post for them, and I got to get like a bunch of free, like I got like a wallet for my brother, I got like a perfume for a friend and a pair of jeans for myself, and I was sick. And then she set up wanted a meeting with me, and I totally messed it up and I didn't show up for the meeting.
Oh, Jason.
I know. I was forever so mad at myself, and I was like, that was your opportunity. Get a job with Diesel.
You messed it up.
Yeah, and back then it was even more like, I wish parkour was known well enough for a brand like that to do something with parkour. So then they hit me up last year and they said, hey, we'd love to do something for Only the Brave perfume. And I was like, yes, my second chance.
It was meant to be.
Yes. So yeah, I was super happy. It was a cool crew, and yeah, super happy that happened. It was just literally like one of the jobs that just everything fit.
Yeah. No, it's super awesome. I love seeing like brands like Diesel, for example, that reach out to, you know, people that are doing cool things on social media, not just in general, but just in life. Like you wouldn't, me personally, I wouldn't naturally associate parkour with perfume. But whenever you think about it, like the two actually work quite well together, like in terms of you could make a really creative sort of original advertising campaign, like something that's not, you know, associated as such with the perfume. But I think it's super smart, and I wish more brands would be doing it. Do you think, like personally, do you know of any brands that kind of you'd like to work with, or you think are doing sort of cool campaigns in terms of social media?
I personally, so speaking of obsessions, another thing that, because we started making clothing for Freerunning, and I was not, if you look at me in school, I was definitely not known to be stylish, but or like well dressed. But through doing that, I kind of fell in love with clothing and making clothing and what goes into kind of building a silhouette and a shape to make a person look good. And I've like when we really started making clothing, I was watching every fashion documentary I could find on all the different brands, reading Wikipedia pages on who's the designer of what brand and what are they doing and what's their story. So there was this like solid 1 or 2 years where I was really obsessed with the fashion world. And it's kind of always been a world that kind of excited me. So I would love for more brands that are kind of in that world, whether it was like whatever, Versace, Louis Vuitton. I love Y3 stuff they do, and then it's just that's kind of a world that excites me. So anything that would pull me in that direction, I would really be excited about, and that's something I would do even if it wouldn't pay as much or it wouldn't be as high profile of a job. I would be like, sign me up. That's the stuff I'm excited for. Yeah, no, I could see that totally happening. I mean, I've noticed a lot of sort of fashion shows even lately, like that have been involving sort of social media influencers. Like, what is it? It was Milan Fashion Week. I know that Marcus Butler and some like massive influencers like on social media content creators, I hate using the word influencers, that were like walking in the fashion show, and it got such a massive reaction online. So I can see more fashion sort of brands like high profile like Louis Vuitton and whatnot that will get involved. I think if they don't, like, they're losing. Do you know what I mean? Like influencer marketing, online social media marketing is like the way forward of the future, you know? I have no doubt it's gonna happen. Yeah. It's just I hope I'll be in the right spot for when it happens, right? For them to find me. That's always a difficult thing. It's kind of a weird way of finding work, is you just kind of like, I'm going to do something that I think is really good, and I'm going to sit here and wait for somebody else to be like, cool, can we pay you to do the same thing for us? Yeah. Like, you never know where an opportunity is going to come from, or if you're going to be in the right place at the right time and everything. But like, I think you're doing everything right. Like, in terms of you're producing so much content, like it's original, it's authentic to you, and you're just a genuine, like, nice person. Like, there's not a lot of people that, you know, would come on this podcast with your like amount of followers, for example. But yeah, I really appreciate it, and I think you've got such a good like mental attitude in terms of you're so down to earth with what you do that I've no doubt like all those brands are going to want to work with you. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you to say. But like, it genuinely means a lot. Like, I've lined up some cool guests for the podcast and whatnot. Get excited. But yeah, I just was really like happy whenever you were like so up for coming on it and like having a conversation and everything. It really like, it truly means a lot. So thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I'm enjoying myself. Always down for a good conversation. Yeah. I'm glad. You know, only just conversations. You know, it's a good time. But it's anybody. If Lucy asks you to come on a podcast, she's basically going to come on and ask you only about the good stuff you do. Yeah. And you get to feel really good about yourself for like 45 minutes. Tell everybody about why you're awesome. And It's going to be awesome.
I mean, that's the aim. I don't want like listeners being like depressed about like I broke my foot one time and I couldn't do blah blah. Do you know what I mean? Like, how is your foot, by the way? You heard it, didn't you? Actually.
Yeah, my foot is healing well. I think I'm at 95%. It's been very slow, but
Okay.
I'm excited that I can move again.
Yeah, just don't go breaking anything else, please. I need to watch more of your content. So. Okay, I think we're almost sort of wrapping up, but there is 2 questions. The first one, who at the moment is like really inspiring you? Is there anyone in particular?
Not right now, because I feel like right now it's a little difficult because I don't quite have a clear direction for myself of what I want to do. I'm kind of struggling a little bit to find it. Yeah, I feel like one person that's always kind of exciting and an inspiration to me is Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think he's awesome.
Oh, that's so good.
I think especially because he's comes from a German-speaking country and he kind of managed to have an international success through sport, but then branched out into other things.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, oh wow, that's so cool. I would love to find my way of doing that. So listening to his autobiography was really awesome as an audiobook.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
That's super cool. I wasn't expecting that type of answer, but that's really, really cool. I don't know. I feel like for me, I have so many people around me that like constantly inspire me every day. Like I don't want to single out like a particular person. Do you know what I mean? Like you inspire me with like the content you put up. Like Gary inspires me with like his motivation. Casey inspires me with starting a new company, even after, you know, Beam didn't really work out. And it's like, even like my mom, she inspires me by her work ethic. You know, like there's so many different people. And I'm like you, like I'm sort of in between, like, is my content this? Is my content that? Like I'm experimenting a lot with a lot of different things and seeing what works best. And I've been wanting to do this podcast for like a year. And then I think Gary honestly really inspired me to start the podcast. Like I know voice is going to be such a big thing, but then hearing him say it as well was kind of like, I have to do it. Like I have to do the podcast. So yeah.
It's so scary with these things, right? Because you don't know if you were right until like 3-4 years down the line.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then you're always smart. You're like, I should have done that. It's a scary bet to make to do that kind of investment, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. And I'm such like, I don't want to waste time either, you know? And I know I have so much time and I know I need to be patient, but it's such a big thing. Like I don't want to be wasting time, but sometimes you have to get things right.
Yeah, seems like you're doing good.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I'm
Trying.
not sure if this is what happened, because to me it looks like you maybe a few months ago just hit like a switch and were like, all right, I've looked at enough of shit. I've been sitting around and thinking about what to do long enough. I imagine maybe you thought like, okay, I'm either going to now do it or I got to stop kidding myself that one day I am going to do it.
I think so. I had like so many other things that I was focusing on. Like I was like in school and I had like 3 jobs so I could go to America, and like I went to America to work as a videographer for the summer. But like before that I had like 3 jobs. I was in school and I was also trying to do YouTube stuff on the side. I literally was making a monthly video like of my entire month, and then like random stuff. But I was always making excuses. I was like, I can't do it because I'm doing this and this and this. Whenever I come back from America, I was like, I can't make excuses anymore. Like I just have to do it. Like I want it, you know, if you want something so bad, why aren't you doing it? You know, that's kind of my logic. And I was like, it's not as if I was procrastinating. I was genuinely so busy, but I wasn't prioritizing my time. So whenever I got back from America, I was like, I want it, so I need to do it, you know. And it's working out pretty good. So hopefully something keeps going the way it's going, you know.
So since this is your first podcast, maybe it could be interesting to like think about, all right, where do you would like this to go?
The podcast in
or
general?
Like generally a few years down the line, how would you like your day to look like? How would you like to spend your day?
Damn, Jason, question. Okay. I want to genuinely help people, and I want to do that through video. So it's like, if I see that someone needs something, I want to make that, like I want to make it happen. And then I want my own brand like truly developed. Like I don't know if you saw the Belfast video I made. It was like Belfast at Christmas, and it got such a good reaction online, and I want to create more sort of film-based content and really show what I can actually do through editing, because I'm a full-time video editor. Like, that's my day job, and like my night job, like for myself, but it's my day job. Like, I work for a production company, a really awesome production company, B&L Productions, and then just had to give them a little cheeky shout out, you know. But then I also have my own company, which I've just started, which focuses on like influencer marketing and micro content for like social media. So I just want to keep doing what I'm doing and hopefully grow this to be a lot bigger and make more connections. So yeah, like people like you. Do you know what I mean? Like, we met 2 years ago. This is so weird, like how it all like happens. You never expect like things like this to happen. 2 years ago, like I dreamed of having a podcast, but I was like, I'll never have the equipment to do that. Like, that's going to take me like 10 years to achieve, you know? Does that make sense?
You're doing it. I'm excited to see where you're going to go with it.
We have went like so over time, but I might cut some stuff out. But quick fire round, okay? Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Are you ready? Okay. Guns.
We'll find out.
Okay. Favorite superhero?
Batman.
Okay. Do you have a nickname?
Funny, I always find it funny. I don't.
Goodness.
People don't tend to give me nicknames. I kind of want a good one, but it's not happening. My dad calls me Todd, but he's the only one, and he calls me Todd because I started walking pretty early, so I was always falling over, like a toddler.
Right.
So he called me Todd. That's the only real nickname that I have.
Oh, you're lucky. I have like multiple nicknames. It's not fun.
What's the worst one?
Oh, I don't know. Like, it honestly just depends. I get called Lulabella. I get called OJL, because OnlyJustLucy. And then like all my friends, like they take the piss. Like they say OnlyJust, and then, you know, like something like crappy name after it all the time. They really like joke about it as well. It's like, are you only just working? Are you only, do you know what I mean? Like, it's constant, it's teasing, but I don't mind it, you know? I'm creating a brand, it's fine.
It's catchy, that's good.
Yeah, it's working. Okay, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Yeah, same. What's something you're good at that not many people know? Impersonating Justin Bieber.
I think like Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop.
Oh, cool.
Okay, yeah, not very good, but like I do alright.
That's super
I
awesome.
think most people don't know because I'd never really talk about it.
Yeah. No, that's super cool. I didn't know that. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Would I like to attempt? I feel like it'd be awesome to be a nude photographer.
Oh.
Like Helmut Newton kind of style.
That's super interesting.
That'd be so bad. That's my backup career.
I don't know. I love what I'm doing so much. I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
But you couldn't. Like, you're like, done. Cameras are illegal now.
Cameras are illegal.
Editing also. What do you do?
What do I do? I think I would develop an app. Like, I would be an app developer or like a coder, something like that. I think it would still be something in technology. Here, if cameras didn't exist, how are you going to be a nude photographer?
And I'd be a painter.
A painter. Oh, a nude painter. Okay. The feeling you just want to see naked people, but that's fine.
Why? What's against seeing naked people? Yeah.
I think we're like pretty much wrapped up. Is there anything else you want to say like before we finish the podcast?
Is there anything I want to say?
Dramatic music.
Parkour has changed my life completely in ways I could have never imagined, and want to try parkour, put in Jason Paul parkour beginner tutorial. My tutorial will pop up. Like, that's one thing I always wanted to make, was this an hour and a half parkour tutorial to kill everybody's excuse whoever thought about trying it. So if you ever wanted to give it a try, check that out. And maybe the most important content I've ever put out for myself. So if you would ever want to try parkour, yeah, put in parkour beginner tutorial, Jason Paul, and I will show up in YouTube. And yeah, I hope you'll have many good times jumping over walls and rails and doing all that kind of stuff.
Guys, literally, you could try it and you'll still be better than me. So, if you haven't got the gist already, like, Jason is super awesome. Like, that's the reason he's on this podcast. And if you don't know who he is, I hope this has inspired you to go check out what he does. Like, again, I think I've said it about 30 times, but thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really, really appreciate it. And I've had so much fun talking to you. Thank you everyone for listening to Only Just Conversations. I hope you've enjoyed the first episode. Yeah, please tweet Jason and I what you thought of the episode. And if there's anyone else you'd like to see on the podcast, let me know. I always end my videos with thank you so much for watching and for joining my journey. So thank you so much for listening and for joining my journey. Bye.
We gon' break bread right now. You can get fed right now, pipe down. Travel the world, live and learn. Never know when it might be your turn. Take a chance and believe it. Bleed it when the dream comes, you seize it. Until the dream becomes the air that you breathe, and that's how bad you need it. Over here ain't no quitting, ain't no reason, ain't no switching. That's how we live. Tune in, turn it up, and make sure you listen. Over here ain't no quitting, ain't no reason, ain't no switching. Even though we just talking, tune in, turn up and listen. These are only just conversations. These are only just conversations. These are only just conversations. What you listening to? Only just conversation. 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 Only just conversation.
We did it.